What's up, YouTube? We're back with another tournament report. I'm in a different setting once again, a little bit of an older style deck profile for you guys. I got 33rd place over in Milwaukee. Yeah, that's right. If you guys are keeping track, that's my second time getting 33rd this season at an X3 record, basically losing an effective round before the winning end. It's been a good season being on those situations, so I've been having a pretty good season overall in terms of that. But yeah, so anyway, let's jump into the deck. I played Box. I'm going to go through the list in a second, but for those of you guys who are supporters of the guide, the class that I put up on Metafy, I put my exact 60 cards here. I think I changed to one card, and it was like the Hoot Hoot split that I just decided last second arbitrarily. So if you guys are willing to purchase that and support me there, you guys get the list for free ahead of time for the tournament, and you guys can play the same 60 as me for the most part. I will be more than likely playing this for Portland again. I just have to, look at all my options because I have some time. But let's go into the deck list and why I played what I played. So we have a 4-4 Noctowl line with a 2-2 Hoot Hoot split. I just couldn't decide what the Hoot Hoot split is, like what's the correct number. I just figured why not have two just for the Dragon Pulp matchup. I think it did hurt me in a couple games. One game I played Zaladios and it actually kind of screwed me. So yeah. Two fan items, you need both of these quite a bit in every situation. Ditto, this guy's always the MVP. He becomes anything in your deck that you want. We have the two Wellspring Ogrepons. I mean, you don't need more than that, but this is the main attacker in a lot of situations. You have the green Ogrepon as well. You don't need more than one, but I think with Zoroark doing well, you might want another answer to attack into them. I have Cornerstone Ogrepon as well for the Goldango matchup, as well as Zoroark matchup, and just some fringe stuff like Arcaludon, just where the matchup might not be as straightforward as you'd like it to be. Lily's Clefairy here. Just really good into Dragapult and overall pretty good attacker as well. Ursaluna didn't do anything this weekend, but it is a good closer at the end of the game when you're just looking for Nest-Ball energy. Pikachu was the MVP this weekend, absolutely clearing everything with its Topaz Bolt attack. Terapagos as well. Didn't really do too much again this weekend, but I did want a Cornerstone answer, and it's a pretty good attacker. Mew draws cards, is cute. Latias, you kind of need for your treat in this deck. Very, very good. I'm a boomer if you guys don't know. So we have the Pheasantipity as well to draw a bunch of cards. That's the Pokemon line. There's a million, bajillion, trillion Pokemon in the deck. Let's go into the supporters. We have 4 copies of Crispin. This card's also super, super good. You kind of need it every single time. The 4 Crispin is a Yurko thing. He did it, and I kind of just stole it. It's really broken. You just need it when you need it, so why are you, I don't know, not trying to find it? 2 copies of Boss. Yurko played 3. I have a counter capture that you guys will see later in the list. I like that quite a bit. The other auxiliary supporters are 1 Iono, 1 Research, 1 Brox, and 1 Turo. I really like the Turo still just for awkward situations. It just helps out quite a bit. I feel like it's impossible to cut. The Brox is also really unique. I don't think I use this too much, so I don't know how much value this has over the course of the weekend, but it is in the list. I might cut this for something moving forward, maybe a second Iono, maybe a second Research. My opponents weren't really expecting that. I did hit a lot of aggro matchups, so I will go into that in a second. I have 4 copies of Nest Ball. 3 copies of Ultra, not something I was too fond of, sorry, but I needed to make space for stuff. I don't know if this is the right cut. It might have been the wrong one. I might want to put a Puffin in. I think a Puffin seems really good the more I've been playing this deck. 2 Area Zero and a Jamming Tower for the Gardevoir matchup. This actually helps quite a lot. Jamming Tower is also just really unique in those situations. It's good. Quite a bit into Dragapult as well with the Lux Cape. And then all the 1-ofs. We've got a ton of 1-of. Oh no. Aha, I have 2 E-switches. I forgot about these guys. You do want a third sometimes, but I feel like 2 is more than enough in a lot of situations. So I like that quite a bit. And then you have Stretcher and a Rod for recovery. I put the Rod in here because I expect to use Pikachu quite a bit over the course of the weekend. Then we have CC, Crystal, Board, and Vessel. I think all these are useful in their own individual ways, and I quite like having all of them and the options to play so. 4 Grass Energies, 2 Psychic Energies, my Lightning Energy that I've been using since Worlds, and then 1 of these 3 guys as well. Basically, I think that list-wise, everything felt pretty good. The Brox is one of the few cards that could be cut, I think. The Cornerstone didn't really do anything this weekend, but my matchups weren't indicative of ones that I would need it in. So that's also a little bit of bias. Maybe Cornerstone could be better as I don't know, something else. I have to think about it a little bit more, but I will update that in the guide as you go. So let's jump into matchups as we get in there. So Milwaukee, we get here. The group's kind of split on what they want to play. I'm pretty set on Box. I just feel like it's a lot of fun. So I just want to play the deck that I'm comfortable at and I feel really good with. So I kind of lock it in and I feel really good about it. Round 1, I hit Paltnor. And game 1, I kind of full brick and she ends up just completely cooking me. It's kind of the Drixty. I think it's pretty close to the Drixty, or it is the Drixty. Game 2, I kind of just blow up her board. She doesn't really get a follow up past that. Like I just get to keep chaining pumps and the game ends. Game 3, I remember looking through my deck because I'm in like a super good board position. And she like has a really weak board with only one Jacloak, and the Jacloak has the Lux Cape on it too, and she voodoos me. And so I'm thinking, oh my god, if I just pump, I can't like lose the game here. And I look through, and I had like an attachment on turn 1 too, right? Like I did a deck search. I knew that A-Spec was prized, so this whole situation was perfect because I was like, I know A-Spec is prized. I don't know if jamming is in the deck. I did like a pretty bad deck search, to be honest, so I didn't prize check properly. And I was like, I'm so chilling. Like I'll just be able to do whatever I want. So I have a Crispin already in my hand without even having to use Noctowl. So I'm just like, I'll just commit to the Crispin now. And like I was like, I'm pretty sure I saw water in the deck, whatever. I looked through the deck. There's no water. There's no A-Spec. There's no Psychics. So I can't even knock out a Dragapult at one point. Like I end up taking a knockout with Fan Rotom on the active. She does not get a Dragapult up and running the following turn. She goes back into Badoo. I get to take one more with Fan Rotom. And I remember like vividly thinking that she's going to attack with Dragapult here this turn. And if I had a response with Clefairy, I can't lose this game. Like it's like very, very difficult for me to lose this game if I get the attack here. But all those first 2 prizes, I didn't take the energy. She didn't pop a Dusknoir that turn. She didn't need to. She ends up attacking me, taking 3 on that turn. Following turn, or she takes 2 that turn. Following turn, she pops the Dusclops, gives me a prize. I get the Psychic there, takes 3, but Ionos me to 3. So even if I knock out with Clefairy or whatever, she had Bear already preloaded on the bench, so I really couldn't do anything, and I ended up losing that game. So I started the day off 0-1, obviously not the way you want to start a tournament. Round 2, I hit a Pult Nonor, and both games are almost exactly identical. My opponent chose second, I got to go first. I got an attach off on the Water Pawn, or like I Crispin Tooled both games pretty much. And I was able to just like blow up the entire board before they got to play the game. I think both games didn't even see a Dragapult in play based on how I just blew everything up. So down 1-1. Round 3, I up against Joltik Box, my first Joltik Box of the tournament. I'm not entirely sure how to play this. In the first game, my opponent ends up in a position where she ends up Arvening for an EXP share and a gear on a turn that I think she could put herself ahead if she just takes 2 prizes on that turn. She tells me right after that she could have bossed and taken 2 that turn with hands. So she ends up like, I don't think she Jolting charged again, but I think she like just attacked into my Pikachu. Or something like that, and I'm able to just like, no, I think she was like a 160 into my like, Terapagos or something of that nature. And then I was able to just take 2 there, and then I was up ahead on the prize trade, so I'm just not losing from that position. So I ended up winning the first game. The second game, she's like breaking quite badly, and my opening hand is like so good. Like she takes second, I go first, and I opened the pieces to go straight into Pikachu to start the game, attach a Lightning Energy from hand, and attach a Crystal from hand. So my Pikachu is loaded up, and all I need is an energy card and a boss's orders, and I am the person to take that first Pikachu KO. So she commits everything. Ionos me low. I am at 6, sorry. I find the Owl. I Owl for Boss Vessel. I'm able to get the KO on the hands that she just powered up. She has to go back into like defensive mode, re-Jolting Charge once again. I end up Crispining, I think, and like going into like a Sob on the little guy. She ends up going Galvantula EX, which I didn't expect. Knock out my guy. I knock out the Galvantula Pikachu once again. I'm at 2. She's at 4. I have a Pikachu ready to go. Not ready to go, but I have a Pikachu. I have a green Ogerpon with an energy on it. I have a Bear on bench. My Pikachu doesn't have any damage on it. It's like really difficult for her to like do anything in this position. So I end up, winning the series 2-0. So I'm now 2-1. Next round I go up against Anil from Shift Gear Podcast. Love Anil, great guy. He's playing Joltik as well. The first game, it comes down to like a little bit of a slugfest where I end up just like losing the war of attrition. Like my pieces are just like not there in the right order. And Anil finds like Gust, Prime, basically like in back-to-back turns. He has like all the answers. The next game, I'm able to like actually mount a comeback and put myself in a position where I can like, and I remember the first game vividly, I had a position where I could get ahead, but my counter catcher was prized, which made it so I couldn't counter catcher Iono in the same turn and take out the Fez, which was my intention to do so, and I couldn't do so. And then game 2, I get to a position where I can actually Pikachu and feel comfortable in my position because he can't pop my Pika. There's nothing on my board to take, and he goes into a Volcanion EX to burn me and knock me out. And then I got like really frazzled, and I played like pretty bad at the end of the game. I don't think I had a win condition anyway, but I tried to like torrential pump a Terra Pokemon, And I was like, well, I already announced the attack, so I'm not going to, like, take it back. Like, I fucked up. It's on me. So, I mean, I don't think I ever win that game anyway, so I just lost. So I got 2-0 there, dropped to 2-2. So now my tournament life is on an edge. So I got to win out. Next round, I hit Joltik as well. The first game, I end up just getting completely blown out of the water, like, no setup on my end. Just bad start, bad beats. Game 2, I end up just, like, setting up super well. Yeah, but the second game, I actually get to like play the game properly. I get to race. We had a surprise guest, a little bit interruption. We have Finn the puppy here with me, and then I'm able to win the game on game 2. Game 3, I end up getting really far ahead. My opponent has a pretty slow start. I don't believe they even jolting charged early, so I'm able to just like go straight into like set up Pikachu, look just straight for the knockout on their guy if I can, which I did as soon as they powered it up. And so they end up going to like a Maractus strategy towards the middle of the game. And I'm just like, we're kind of even on cards. There's like 15 cards in both of our decks. I still have my Iono available. I still have my Super Rod available. And I'm just like, I don't think you can Maractus lock my board. So I just immediately go get Jamming Tower with Owl. I clear my board of everything that's a threat. I have the Pika with Crystal on it. So it can take 9 hits, I guess. I have a powered up, like, everything else is powered up to attack. So I'm just like, yeah, you don't get to, like, stick me here. Then I end up winning the game. So then I go to 3-2. Hi, Finn the puppy. You guys can see hi. Look at him. Finn the puppy is here to play. I got to keep giving him pets. He demands it as I do this tournament report. So now I'm at 3-2. Then I'm going to Terapagos. Jared, he wins the flip. He sets up pretty well. I know he's playing Volcanion. Their group talked to me the night before about it. I just didn't get sold on it. The first game, my hand is so absolutely giga broken that I'm able to just go into the Ditto, get the Pikachu Crystal Crispin, and I one-shot the active Water Ogerpon. And then from there, Jared doesn't really have a response. He doesn't really know what to do. So I'm able to just take over the game completely and win. Game 2, Jared full bricks, doesn't get anything, and I just, win in like 3 turns. So now I'm 4-2, and I go up against Pengo the next round, Dragapult Goldengo. And both games are pretty similar, where my opponent just doesn't have the greatest of starts, doesn't even have an Evo off the rip. So I'm pretty much just really far ahead, taking knockouts with my Pikachu. I think game 1 I Pikachu'd 3 full times, and I was just so far ahead, and I just really felt bad for my opponent because his matchup is favored for me, but not like that favored. It's still like got to be a playable game, but they bricked it pretty badly. So then I jump into 5-2. I'm in my winning round. I go up against Poison Moon, which I think is actually a really scary matchup. The first game, my opponent actually like has like a pretty good start, where he like is able to like Carmine and Squawk and everything, but he discards 3 tools and like 3 stadiums in the process. He ends up getting the poison up and running. I got to go first, so I got to push like the Water Ogerpon. He gets the poison up and running, and I'm able to just like get really far ahead on the board. And the poison like doesn't matter. The moon doesn't end up mattering. So I end up like basically winning the game before he can like, he like ends up sodding to like 2 moons at like the very end of the game, and just like looks at his hand and goes like, I'll concede. Off the 3. And then the second game, he like has a secret box opening. Going first, I end up opening something that can't get donked. I think it was like Fez, or something like that. And he like ends up going through the motions. But he discards 2 E-Switch. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. I didn't even expect that card to be in there. And then I was like, wait, I didn't see an A-Spec game 1, so that also solves the mystery of what the A-Spec is. Is it going to be a Prime? Is it going to be a neutralization zone? I expected Secret Box, but I didn't like, obviously, like, I don't want to assume with Poison decks, because it could just be like the Moon deck that did well in Monterey. He ends up getting off to like a super good start, gets everything going. I end up just taking an early, play the game slow, play it safe. He ends up missing a knockout, I believe. And then I'm able to just chase up, I think it was either a Moon or like a Fez or something, and just take 2. And then he comes up, he gusts up my green Ogerpon, takes that out. I'm able to just like return response with Clefairy. And then I'm at 2, I think he was at 3, something of that nature. Or I attacked twice with Fan Rotom. I remember that. I took 2 prizes with Fan Rotom. And then the game was like even, and then he had to Gust, he had to use a boss. And then I like had to make a gamble, basically like go low and like kill him with Bear. And then I was like, maybe he doesn't play another way to Gust. And we talked after, he didn't. He only had boss, like no kind of catcher, no bundle, no like actual catcher, none of that stuff. So I felt comfortable in that position where I could just like chain 2 attacks in a row and win the game, which is exactly what I did. So I go to 6-2, I move on to day 2. I go home, chill day, Got to go forward tomorrow, hard day at the office. And you guys saw it was an asymmetric cut of 14. So even the third seed, Lucas, was not safe in top 8. I felt, really pretty bad for the guys that got knocked out, John and Lucas. Round 9, I go up against Gardevoir. Gardevoir is probably the, I wouldn't say toughest, but it's one of the tougher matchups for us to play against. But both games went pretty similar. My opponent didn't have the greatest of starts, and I'm able to just kind of ravage their board. They're not really able to make an Iono stick on me, and I'm able to just put myself in really fortuitous positions. They're basically just playing the Brent list. Brian got to pull off some cool tricks on me, or tried to at least, but my start was just really disgustingly good both games. And one of the games I remember vividly just blowing up both Ralts, and I just didn't let those Ralts survive. And I think Brian might have prized the third Ralts, which just led to a position where I was just so far ahead. So now I'm 7-2. I go up against Poltnor in the following round, which is a little bit of a spooky matchup. It's Christian Fontenot. He's playing a research-based build, and I don't know what the A-spec is going into it. I'm assuming Stamp. Game 1, I ended up having to take a Fan Rotom KO, and so I'm feeling pretty bad about the situation. But then the board, the game plays out to a position where I'm okay, he prizes A-spec if it is Stamp, because he could have stamped me in that situation right there, and he didn't. He chose not to go for it. So either he's not playing Stamp or he prized Stamp, and then he's not playing Candy or Crispin or anything, so he missed energy attachments game 1 pretty badly. And I'm able to just basically take my sweet time, get back into the game. After my Fan Rotom KO, I basically got the pieces on the next turn to go, because I Crispin, I think, into it, and I got the attachment. I went into a boss KO 2 Dragon Balls that had an energy attached to them to go to 3, and the Iono would be there, hoping it would stick to some degree. But my board was completely unCCable because I got Latias down. Fan Rotom, I had a board on my one Noctowl that I already used, so I had nothing he could CC. So he had to just go into Badoo and try to buy a turn there, but I hit Crispin there, and I was able to just Crispin, and I didn't shuffle in my guy because he missed an attachment. So I knew about it. And then he just went up with Bear and hit me. I was oh yeah, I forgot Bear exists. And then I was able to clean up the Bear with my hand because he didn't Iono that turn, so I had Pikachu to just blow him back up. Boom, game 1. Game 2, he's also missing energy drops pretty poorly, and I'm basically able to kind of start sweeping his board, and then he slams a Neo upper, and I'm that's the A-spec. And it's a little bit of a back and forth. And this game, I might have confused games 1 and 2, but this game in particular, I remember he Iono'd me to 1, and I had Fez in play, and I remember I just had I drew into Clefairy Crispin off the 2, or Clefairy Noctowl off the 2 just to knock out his Dragapult. But I had the Fez, so I actually had pieces to actually get it if I needed to. It wasn't a get completely sacked, but I had draw available to me. But the game's really close, but Christian's list I think is a little bit unfavored into me, especially with the Nor. And even though my starts weren't super optimal, I was able to capitalize. So now I'm X2, still going in, feeling pretty good still. Next try to go up against Gardevoir. The first game is really close back and forth. My opponent ends up breaking their Badoo lock for pretty much no reason to take a Hoot KO, which then gives me access to pump their board clean of a monkey that has a dark on it too for no reason. They end up going up with Gardevoir, doing some shenanigans. We get to a board state where it's 2-2, and I'm in a really good position to just end the game if I have an energy in my 8-card hand. I don't. Spoiler alert. My opponent ends up also choosing not to bench, deciding against benching Mew or Pheasantipity because they're pretty confident that I could kill it or something. No, they were I made a misplay. I should have benched it. If they had Bear KO in hand. I had everything I needed to get the Bear KO hand, which was really unfortunate. I'm also 1 card away from going Boss Sob on a Monkey Dory. So then on the following turn, I can pump the board because it's they had a board that was a free pump to basically end the game in that capacity, or a Gust KO or whatever. And so I have to go Iono, Sob their active Screamtail, and they need Charm or Dark to win. And I basically give them, or they need Charm and Dark to win. And I end up giving them Charm off the Iono into Research into Dark. So game 1 was a little bit of a doozy. Game 2, I just completely waxed their board. They showed me a Mimikyu to try to buy some time, but I just Fan Rotom it, and then I Jamming Tower in the future turns. They hadn't seen the jamming in game 1, so I guess that was a new card. Game 3, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good with their list and how I'm going to play into it. Game 3, I opened Ursaluna and no Fan Rotom going first, and I was just I remember looking at my hand and I was dude, why did you have to, going second, and I was dude, why did you have to show up right now? Like, why did you have to show up to this party in this exact one situation that loses me the game? And my opening hand is, like, completely abysmal. It's, like, double Noctowl, E-switch, like, energy. I end up, like, attaching. They Iono me turn 1 on their turn to go back because they're like, we need to play the game. And I'm like, I don't think you really needed to Iono me. You could have just chilled and, like, Itchy Pollen for, like, 800 turns probably and won the game. But they Iono me into, like, Water Ogerpon Crispin. So I actually end up able to like build a board that's like playable, but the problem is they end up getting like double Candy Guardy or like Candy Guardy into like build up a natural Guardy, and I'm like, I can't do anything. So I end up losing this round, so I get knocked out of contention. If I'm in my last round, I can make top 32. Most of the time, the people at my record will make it, so I was like, why not? Let's play, see what happens. I hit an Eevee Box. Eevee Box is a matchup I have not tested whatsoever. Both games pretty much play out the exact same, where I can just Pikachu and like I'd like Pikachu blow up like the active game 1. I'm breaking also game 1. And the Angelite, my 2 Hoothoots that I get off the Brox, I'm like, oh, this is so sick. And so I end up like having to Pikachu Topaz Bolt. And I end up getting really far ahead. They can't come back, and I end up winning the game because they use Carnelion to knock out something, and then I sob it, so it gets stuck in the active. Because I already sobbed, I think, prior to this. So I sob it back in the active, keep it there. So now I have a guaranteed KO on this Flareon for the following turn. And I can just take a 1 prize on the bench, which is exactly what I do. And I go to 1, they're at 3, and they can't win that turn. So I end up winning off the back of that. Game 2, they end up being a pretty egregious, like I end up being a pretty bad like read on the situation because I assume their ace-spec is either Stamp or Crystal. So I like load up my board, make like a pretty big board, and they just go Prime Catcher, Clefairy, kill my guy. My Fez on the board, and I was like, oh no, like what the heck? Like I misread the situation, Prime's their ace-spec. So they take the first 2. And then I'm able to like trade back in. But then the next turn, they had Trumpet. They prized Trumpet, but they had all the pieces to go Crispin, Clefairy, Boss, or just trade with Clefairy, and then just go 2-2. And then I know they have Bear to end the game. So they have to Bear and finish it up that way. And I have to like Bear them or Pikachu them in that situation. So I have to find a lot of cards and Iono. And I researched my Iono a turn 1. So I knew like I probably lost this game. But they just don't do that. Like they go through all this humdrum to, I think they just attacked me with like Flareon and set up like another guy. And at that point I just like owled for Boss, brought up a dude, took the prize. And so like they attacked me for 130 and I was like, okay, I feel good about the situation. But I think if they raced me, they could have beat me and then we probably would have forced a tie because both games were taking quite a bit of time. No flame or anything. Like it was a complicated series or whatever. So I ended up going 9-3, and I'm one of the 5 players that ends up bubbling top 32. Once again, I'm a 33rd place gamer. Can't really do much about that, but that feels bad. Thank you guys for watching, as always. I'll be back to my normal location after Portland. Actually, no, I will not be my normal location after Portland either, but this is the second last tournament of the season for me, Portland, and then NAIC, the last 2 tournaments I'm attending before the World Championships. I'll do a tournament breakdown of my entire season once NAIC wraps up, where I'll do all the costs and the breakdown of everything like I always do to be fully transparent with you guys, how much I earned this season, how much I spent this season, all that kind of good stuff, and talk about like credit card points, how I do all that stuff in an efficient manner. But yep, that's everything. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and peace out.